indeed.
Finest blessing we can hope for. The sight, the sound, the chaos. Ah, who'd give all this up for oblivion?
Strange indeed.
Aha! I have company, I see. I'm just about to conduct a small experiment, and if you are of Lace's area with more than a few pernicious little friends who are simply bursting with the anticipation. Now, your job is to put up a mite of resistance against... Right then.
Summon undead warrior! Rain nurtures our land.
On the mend.
Final resting place of Bree. Insert something cheesy. Final resting place of Bree. Insert something cheesy. Final resting place of Bree. Insert something Final resting place of Bree. Insert something cheesy.
Look out! I see a trap nearby.
Here lies Joe, Sicil's worst shoemaker. He never knew when something was afoot.
to the skin. As hot as the hell you'll soon inhabit! Without aid, I will expire. I need... I'm overheating here.
My heart beats too slowly to sustain me.
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you?
The rabbit gives you a forlorn look. It seems as if it wants to speak to you, but can't. The rabbit nods and points to the northeast. The cat that got its tongue must have wandered off in that direction.
Hail, Source Hunter. Good to see you've reached Lacula Forest. There were times when I came to this neck of the woods just to whiff its wholesome air. Alas, that it is thick with sorcery these days. It surrounds us here, like an invisible mist. Takes cat's eyes to see it creep. Only, if you don't mind my pointing this out, the mists will continue to hang over Sicil too, as long as I don't mean to tell the cook how to fry fish, but Sicil won't be safe until that particular issue has been settled. Please do give this mystery your full priority. Ha! Zigzags would see you dash rather than mosey. But matters such as these require a thoughtful approach. Leandra and her cronies may be lunatics all, but they're far from brainless. So be wary, Hunter, and be safe.
Careful, comrade. I think I said...
In the name of the goddess, halt! Who goes there? A wanderer, you say? A lost sheep, perhaps, that has found its flock. The stable of Immaculates. Why, it's Silverglen, of course. Once the abode of miners, now the abode of the faithful. We have traded the search for silver for the pursuit of divinity. I'm sure this sounds strange in what are strangers' ears, but you must know that but a short while ago, a frightful sickness, but she showed us how we may overcome the frailty and even the decrepitude of our mortal bodies. This is why we now live a life of devoutness and civility, so that we may become... But I suggest you talk to Father Loik if you want to learn more about the ways of the goddess. Be welcome, therefore, to Silverglen.
The Immaculates here seem to be
May
a
the
friendly
goddess
enough
guide
bunch.
you through the forest.
Seem
and
being the
keep you
operative
safe.
word. Let's remain vigilant.
I wouldn't trust these sentries to guard a pig pen. Keep alert, comrades. There's something fishy about this place.
Over here, Hunter. It's me, Arthur. Over here, Hunter. It's me, Arthur. Source Hunter, you've made it into the hamlet of Silverglen, I see. Unnerving spot, don't you find? Leandra has fashioned herself a hero here, but the townsfolk don't seem to know the truth. They're thick as trout, if you ask me, and unnaturally obsessed with ancient teaching. I haven't seen Leandra here myself, but she must have put on quite a show of magical mastery to enthrall a crowd of shaggy miners. To have them hop on the bandwagon of a shadowy religion, holy... Haven't you heard them whisper of the blood? How their eyes shine when they discuss certain stellar stones? Star stones, of course, which drenched in blood become bloodstones. And now I can see how it could be a fantastic thing to nurse a dying human back to health, if all it takes is to sacrifice a toad. But I spy bloodlust in these people's eyes. A bloodlust that goes beyond the usual meaning of the word. They all act like they're following a benign goddess that will lead them to paradise. But I'll be a dappled Dalmatian if any of that is true. The advantage of being a puss, my friend, is that one can pussyfoot. A white... Not that I'm not extra wary of these bloodsuckers, though. There's a conspicuous absence of pets in this eerie little town. I've been shadowing the local priest, a man by the name of Loic. I have the feeling he knows more than most in Silverglen. Mangoth, Hyberheim... Of strange things I've heard him whisper. Yes, this priest. But we must start at the beginning, Source Hunter. The White Witch is still at large. If we want to get to the true heart of Leandra's doings, we must start with her sister. And she's far likelier to be in her cabin among the trees than here among Leandra's followers. The Immaculate's presence here is highly disconcerting. But we mustn't lose sight of our mission, Source Hunter. The White Witch resides somewhere in the wilds of the surrounding forest.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy house of Immaculates. I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the holy conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. Truly, though, she is quite beyond your concern, O wandering soul. She stands so very. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world that generations of men and beasts have left behind. But immaculate it may be once more, cleansed. The few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs will be her kingdom. When red has run until no red is left, a paradise we will have You find yourself in the goddess's temple, therefore it follows she wants you to take the true path. So here, have this hallowed tome, read it, absorb the wisdom within, then find the second part and do with it the same. If any, do you hold it to be true, O Seeker, that you are ready to be tested? A most sacred trio of queries shall I put before thee, but even if thou falterest but a single time, your unpreparedness disappoints me. But an immaculate is not born, he is made.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Remember, O brothers and sisters, O seeking souls, the miracles with which the blessed conduit rid our mean and mangled bodies of the rot that plagued it. Miracles we deem them no longer, no. Infinitely greater we now know them to be. They are the blessings of the goddess wrought in action.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit. Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess. Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Bow before the goddess, and bow before
Diligently
her.
will I read the words of the goddess.
Hold high the knife, and let it plunge into the lost, so that by
Blessed
their
be the
blood
goddess,
we may
and
redeem
blessed be the
this
conduit.
downtrodden realm. Immaculate it was, immaculate it may be again.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow. Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
The goddess is the word. I am Loic. The goddess is the word. Through the conduit she speaks, and through me her wisdom is repeated. How may I enlighten you?
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Blessed be the goddess and blessed be the conduit.
Beware of the lost ones out there, Wanderer. Their blood is impure. But I hope you haven't come for work in the mines. Overrun by goblins they are. But why toil in the dark when you could bask in the light of the one way?
Beware of the lost ones out there, Wanderer. Their blood is impure. Have you yet seen the Conduit's Way, Lost One? She came to our town and cured the rot. We are her most humble devotees.
Hello and welcome to our shop. I am the son of the proprietor, Nadia. Please, you've probably noticed that my mother Nadia and I aren't from around here. No. We traveled rather far from our hometown to plant new roots here in Silver Glen. My father, Ben, his death was was a bit intense, to be sure. Set in her ways, but fiercely loyal to the family. Help her out and you've got a friend for life. Cross her, and you'll be better off. My father was a good man, equal in character to his wife. His death nearly destroyed us, Ma and me. But now we're here, and we won't leave until we've held the proper parties accountable for their role in his death.
Mamma Benita, a source hunter in Silver Glen. I have traveled mile on top of mile to find help, and now help has, how you say, appeared from skinny vapors. My story? Well, this is no small tale. I think perhaps you will be more interested in I believe Lawrence, the leader of mining guild, tell my husband and many of other workers to mine deadly ore. Lawrence knew that this ore caused rot. Charming name, no? Yet ordered miners to continue. Many men, my Ben among them, become the sickness. My son Sebi and I travel from our home to find truth. But this has proven not so easy. My sweet little Pomargo Vizago, my darling Ben, we got along like, how you say, peas and ferrets. But here there is work, very well paid, in mines. We wait with hearts like stones for some months. And one day, we see familiar figure moving with strange steps. We help him inside and set him to rest. But he was in terrible condition. Each hour he grow worse, rot so fast we hardly recognize him after When his father die, Sebi become restless. Being of the age, he join army and go straight to front line. There we saw special legionnaire using strange weapon. And this legionnaire soon come to my tent with the same disease that killed Ben. I come to Silver Glen to discover truth. And here I find Lawrence, that arrogant man, conducts his business without apologize to any. Exactly this. Please, Source Hunter, you must help me prove that Lawrence made his workers to mine deadly tenebrium. For your help, I offer blessing from my homeland. Se vi mal successos, ni plantos rizzarbo cae tormenti via nepo soggiai branco. Translation is difficult, but it means something like, if you fail, I will plant cherry tree and haunt your grandbaby beneath branches. Good luck. I will do my best to give answer, Source Hunter. I have not found scrap of civilization among these apes. Sebi longs for heaping plate of my famous sire mule, but the local fairs support no fine food. As for neighbors, well, those cultists would rather sacrifice supper to goddess than eat it. May Zalmoxis strike him down, the murderer! I have one goal in Silver Glen, to make him share in the suffering he caused. I am certain he has gained from making nothing natural could cause such terrible disease at mere touch. If you ask me, I say dark magic, a terrible disease. He transforms flesh of living into flesh of corpse, while infected person still lives. Arms grow black and heavy, legs... Do a salutoin, Hunter. What can I do for you? Disease that came to Home Forest.
If the scum who infected your forest are here, we'll round up every last one of them. You can set your clock by that, lady.
Not even worth the rummaging.
could take you on a wild ride if you
Blessed be. Welcome to Silver Glen. Once a place of sin, now a place of salvation.
My, look at you. I bet your blood would fill a bloodstone good and proper.
Oh, if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my
I'd like to order a drink, please.
Over here, sweet cheeks. Oh, I'm aching to show 'em my...
They say the undead are immune to rot.
For all my prayers.
I traded my pickaxe for a bloodstone, and you'll do the same if you know what's good for you.
Brandon's the best overseer there ever was. No one's a more eager miner than he is.
Oh, you startled me. Hello, stranger. How can I help you? Oh, me? Oh, I'm just the waitress around here, as you can see. My husband, Blossius, is a legionnaire currently stationed in... Can't startle me again. He's... Will? But that means he's... Oh, no. Oh, not my... Please, leave me. I just...
Watch where you're going. These beauties will pierce you to the bone. So, do you fancy a trade, then? Come now, before my ale arrives.
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely, sturdy thing. I bet it'll last 100 generations, if treated properly.
I hope you haven't come for miner's work, my friend. That's goblin territory now.
Give one of the comfort folk a visit, if you're in the mood. I recommend Ruby for her imagination. But Ramon's fierce as a wildcat, if that interests you.
Heard any good tales, my friend?
Those damn toll trolls are such a nuisance. I lose a fortune each time I travel to Hunter's Edge.
I traded my pickaxe for a bloodstone, and you... I hope you haven't come for miner's work, my friend. That's goblin territory now.
Those damn toll trolls are such a nuisance. I'll lose a fortune every time I travel.
I traded my pickaxe for a bloodstone, and you'll do...
Welcome to the Immaculate. They say a witch lives in the woods east of here, but I've never seen her myself. One day the conduit will smite her.
Oh. You haven't any ale, have ya? Well, never mind for now. What sort of magical relics can I offer ya? Blessed by the goddess they are, each and all.
Oh, dear. You'll hardly impress the conduit with such a clouded look about your eyes. But not to fear, not to...
These goblins are worse than the trolls. Half as dumb and twice as me.
Blessed be, welcome to Silverglen. Once a place of sin, now a place of salvation.
Reeking of fresh blood.
Do you believe in the gods, baby?
Hi there, honey. You look like you're in dire need of sugar. That's a story for another day, ain't it? Speaking of, yours and mine has hardly begun. Go right ahead, darling. I don't hardly recognise this place no more. Everything's changed since those silly Immaculates came into vogue. The miners, they used to spend their last penny on a backwards glance from yours truly. But now... They just stand around and praise the so-called goddess all day long. I've no idea who she is, but apparently she gets her kicks from having blood sprayed all over her. Now, I knew a girl once who was into that kind of stuff. Indeed I do. And I'm just itching to take you places you've only ever dreamed of, darling. What's a lousy 250 gold between an adventurer like you and a fine piece of tale like the one I've got in store for you? No, come now, honey. I promise To take you for a spin so wild, you'll be begging for more.
Are you always this
I traded my pickaxe for a bloodstone. And you'll do the same if you know what's good for you.
Nothing a healthy dose of the fear of the seven won't fix, though.
Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star.
I hope you haven't come for miner's work, my friend. That's goblin territory now.
I traded my pickaxe for a bloodstone, and you'll do this.
You must be a prize fighter. One look at you, and I'm knocked out. Me? I'm Ramon. I may not be a genie, but rub me right, numb. Even true love has a price angel face. Luckily for you, that price is but 250 golden coins. Fine. Break. No questions, please. Ramon does not ponder. He does not... Do you believe in the gods, baby? 'Cause you
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess, my friend?
Goddess greetings, friend. Her greatness gave us fire, her greatness gave us earth, and my savvy brings you spells at the best rate in town. Come, give me your best offer.
Tell me, sweetie, do you have someone? Are you always...
Why don't you stay a while, darling? I just know I could take you on a wild ride if you let me.
Do you believe in the gods, baby? 'Cause you're the answer to all my...
Careful. Ask away, my friend. Ask away. Frankly, it's surprising. Heed me, comrade. You can't trust a wizard, witch.
Better that than reeking of fresh blood.
What news from the mines?
No news, sir. Goblins will slice us to ribbons if we approach the bridge.
Unacceptable. I want those goblins out of my mind by yesterday. Send another man. As many as it takes.
We haven't enough men among us to take on even a few of them, sir.
Are you deaf? I said I want those goblins out! Make it happen, even if you have to spear Drexis yourself.
Source hunter, are you? What brings you to this neck of the woods? The goblins? The orcs? The cult? Or the whole... Don't be surprised if you hear more than a few unkind words about yours truly around town. An overseer's got to enforce. I'm finished with this one pony rodeo, though. I did my best by these roughnecks. And now it's time for old Brandon to take a load off.
Let's hear the details.
I must say, I'm also...
Oh, I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a challenge. Between you and me, the Troll King's sitting on a piece of treasure of more value than even he knows. A metal called tenebrium that can fetch a prettier sum than its weight. The devil's in the details, though, and I haven't managed to find a way to access the King's cave, much less... But you're a source hunter! You can sniff out any point of mystery. So let's make a deal, hmm? You find the tenebrium and bring it to me.
and I'll deliver you a few pieces.
I wouldn't wish the wrath on me worst enemy, though.
So let me give you a little something to contain the tenebrium bars. It's lined with the fragments of a special stone that keeps...
Apart from Gungir's stature and incurable case of the uglies, it's not so different from a parakeet. Got a brain the size of a pea, and the nutty oaf sits on a river of silver beneath these mines, but leases it to the mining company for a fraction of its worth in gold. He'd rather put those hefty minions of his on toll duty than mine these hills himself for 5 times the reward. I can't be certain myself where his cave is located, but at least one of those oaf lackeys of his must know where to look. They've got to do something with all the gold they've gathered in the course of
I'm no man to refuse a source hunter. Ask away.
That circus rolled into town shortly after the tenebrium was discovered. Some freak woman with a freak gemstone managed to cure rot by some strange magic and convinced most of the locals that she were the conduit of the goddess. A strange sort of substance discovered here around 2 years ago, and folks have been clamouring to get their paws on the rancid stuff ever since. Rot? Oh, you're a curious sort of fella, aren't you? Ask around. Half the men here have a brother who died from it. The other half... I remember him well. Decent man, strong-backed, but something of a funny accent, no? He managed...
Well, kick my cap and call me Sue. Taking tasks from back dealers, are we? God's almighty.
Your squawking is so much like an angry mockingbird's.
A source hunter! My liege, I am at your disposal. I am Lawrence, the representative of the mining guild responsible for operations. Oh, I am no one special. Merely a humble My only cause for complaint, Your Grace, are these awful goblins. They're starving us out, refusing even a single honest miner his right to work. Perhaps my most You must forgive me if I become somewhat overcome when discussing it, my liege. To think how I've been betrayed. To think how I invited a tribe of goblins to assist us in clearing the tenebrium from our mine, you see. The leader, when the job was done, though, he and his band of totem-brain fiends refused to vacate. They've kept close guard of the bridges to the mine since. These goblins follow Drexis like lemmings, Your Grace, and if only I could undo the traitor, they'd slither back to the swamp they crawled from. Drexis's head on my mantle would save countless miners from a slow starvation, my liege. What's preposterous? What does that foreigner know about the affairs of Silver Glen? You do best to do as I do, my liege, and turn a deaf ear to her insane... Please, Your Grace, I am complete... Those brutes! I invited them here to save our valued miners from the ill effects of clearing tenebrium, and those interlopers met. They haven't allowed a single human miner past them in months, and meanwhile my men have all but forgotten their vocation and turned instead to their damned religion. Useless stuff, my liege. Worse than common dirt. But 10 times as difficult to extract, and infinitely more dangerous. If only we'd known in advance the terrible effect, rot. Yes, a dreadful business, that. I've been fortunate enough to avoid this. You see, my liege, when a miner has been overlong exposed to tenebrium, he begins showing certain symptoms. Gangrene about the extremities, fatigue, malaise. Had we known then what we've since discovered, we never would have continued operations. But alas, mistakes were made, and those we lost can never be brought back. My liege, you ought not to concern yourself with the fraudulent leader of a crackpot cult. Some insane huckster calling herself the conduit of the goddess made her way to Silver Glen at the height of the rot's hold on our miners. The people were desperate when, by magic or illusion, she managed to cure a handful of them of the affliction. Every last one of the bunch began speaking of her as though she were some messiah. Now most of the town, fortunately for her, she disappeared shortly after her little trick. Or I would have thrown her into prison and swallowed the key myself. Imagine hypnotizing an entire... Ah, yes. Ben. Of course, one of our many noble miners, Your Grace. Oh, smallish. Enough to know the whole institution has been a blight on productivity. With the blessings of the conduit to replace a sense of a job well done, the miners care.
I don't mean to make trouble where there ain't any, comrade, but in my years of hunting source, I learned that anyone so eager to climb into your lap after a moment's meeting is high. I'm not saying this Lawrence character is involved in sorcery, but it wouldn't exactly surprise me a lick to find out he knows more than he's letting on. Warms my heart to picture him squirming about plain as day with 3 seasoned source hunters on his tail. Nowhere to hide his sniveling mug.
Welcome, friend, to our sacred town. The conduit herself appeared here and brought we sick and worried miners into her fold. Now, we are immaculates, one and all.
Welcome to as holy a sight as you'll find in this region, my friend. Immaculate greetings to you and yours. Have you yet seen the conduit's way, lost one? She came to the town and cured the rot. We are her most humble devotees.
The world is not immaculate. Welcome, friend, to our sacred town. The conduit herself appeared.
Come to drink in the conduit's teachings, have you? Wonderful! Soon you and the goddess will be as one.
I'm almost certain I saw Ebenezer's old cat.
Summon Spider!
like a voodoo doll!
Tempests of winter's core to my aid!
Hurricane attack!
The goddess is the word. Through I am, then it shall be my... Do you hold it to be true? Blessed be your willing spirit. Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine.
Correct.
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser, so that...
Incorrect.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of blood and thereby created the stone that lives...
Correct.
Agreed. That is...
Most gratifying. Oh yes, most exemplary indeed. You have understood the words of the goddess, and I deem you worthy of her true test, of the true trial. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. To become an immaculate, you must experience both the goddess's bane and her boon. Leave Silver Glen and take the western path. Immaculate guards bar the way, but tell them you have my blessing and they shall let you pass. But take utmost care. The road is beset with horrors, and your metal will be... I shall await you in the Chamber of Blood.
Ah, the Source Hunter. It is my greatest pleasure to announce to you that we Immaculates have captured the feared White Witch and quarantined her house of horrors. Yes, the greatest known threat to Rivellon has been neutralized, thanks in no small part to you, Source Hunter. Your activities in Sicil drove the snake to her den, and that I am a proud Immaculate, sworn to use my summoner's expertise in service of the goddess's one way and the greater good. No? And yet you were investigating the murder of Sicil's Councillor Jake, were you not? It was she, the damnable sorcerer, who was responsible. Yes, her wicked conjury was potent. But still, the goddess's soldiers prevailed, with the power of her divinity in our swords and staves. We've permanently subdued the fiend. Every Immaculate honors the memory of that noble man. But I am sworn on my life to guard this quarantine. I serve a higher authority than yours, and will not waver in my duty. If you're certain, I suppose I can trust the word of one of your esteemed order. Go on then, Source Hunter, but please tell no Immaculate I let you pass, or it...
I sung of chaos and eternal night, taught by the heavenly muse to venture down. Oh, somehow we doubt that very much. Have you ever seen the Moth King's silver spoon? Nearly microscopic. No, no, Source Hunter. It's quite a lovely sort of barrier, isn't it? Who doesn't enjoy a gentle, breezy motion against one's backside after all? Then again, we suspect it's been hoisted up by some not-so-savoury characters, and we happen to know just how to remove it. The only trouble is finding the right sort of clever, sort of intrepid sort of person to entrust such a secret. Here's what we propose. We've a fresh batch of 3 brain teasers hot off our thinking caps. Perhaps, if you can answer them correctly, we might find you spirited enough to entrust with the barrier's deepest, darkest secrets. But it isn't all fun and games. We hardly offer second chances to the beriddled. If you give us a single false answer, we'll clam up like morning glories at midnight. So, do you have what it takes? As is your right. I must say, though, that I've never before seen a chicken so perfectly formed into the shape. Well, that particular topic just happens to be our forte. We suppose we could start flapping our gills as easy as summer grass, but where would be the... Perhaps if you can answer each and all correctly, Source Hunter, Then again, it isn't all fun and games. We hardly offer second chances to the beriddled. If you give us a single... As is your right. I must say...